Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Sid Jeffrey. I'm the ANZAC Day Coordinator for the Friends of Hilltop. Just like to welcome everyone this morning. We've got Mr Viv May, our Council Administrator, Nathaniel Smith, a member for Wallandilly, and Mr Ian Scandrett, who's come up to pay us another visit. I'd like to thank you all for turning up this morning. We've had a few more than last year, which is good, regarding the COVID-19 business. Hopefully next year everything will be settled down a bit and we'll be back to normal with the full area crowded out here. But this morning we'll get on with everything. Shay's there set up. Oh yes, I must thank our committee members for help today, doing things inside for me. They're a great help. Shay Burns for his, what do you call it? Sound system all around the place. It helps us out every year. But we'll start. Would Mr May or Mr Smith like to say a few words at all? Ladies and gentlemen, Nathaniel Smith.
Well, thank you, and thank you to the community for coming out this morning. Obviously last year we had to celebrate ANZAC Day in a different way, and it was so important that we got ANZAC Day running again, because I know how much it means, not just to me as a son of a Lieutenant Colonel from World War I, and a great-grandson of a Lieutenant Colonel from World War I, and a grandson from a corporal in World War II. But what they gave to this country, and we saw that spirit of ANZAC only 14 months ago. We had fires raging through this area, and we saw how the community came out to support the RFS, support the emergency services, and the generosity that I saw from this community made me very proud to be the local member. And that was so similar to this, and what our RFS did for this community was so similar to the sacrifice. They gave it their all and risked their lives for us, and we can take a lot from that. And but other than that, I'd like us to finish up by thanking you all for coming out this cold morning, and lest we forget.
Thank you, Nathaniel. I'm going to read something out that I have last year. It goes to such a... Our committee is sorry that the current circumstance had to cancel the service. They've been held each year at the memorial wall here, which was built and dedicated in 2000 to the catapult party provided by HMAS Creswell. The committee's been lucky enough to have a catapult party of all of the following years. The dawn service here has been held for at least 20 years, so I hope it can be held a lot longer than that. Please bear with me to honour the service personnel whose names appear on the honour roll in the hall. We also have photos in the hall of just about all of those personnel. Things are bad. That paper's disappeared on me. No, here it is. The names of the ones on the roll inside that were from Hilltop in the Second Wars: B. Beaver, G. Bride, R. Carter, B. Carter, 2 B. Carters, A. Coates, R. Coates, J. Dick McGuigan, G. Fisher, A. Foreman, L. Foreman, F. Foreman, R. Foreman, E. Gross, N.R. Gross, P.A. Gross, H. Hill, J.C. Heineman, J. Knowles, J. London, H. Moore, J.A. Monday, M. Needham, S. Needham, G. Palmer, J. Palmer, F.M. Sadka, C. Webb, and 2 ladies who were in the WAFs at the time were E. Dick McGuigan and M. E. Gross. To those we pay homage again today, as well as everyone else from the first 2 wars. I can correspond with what Nathaniel said regarding personnel in the wars, because my father was in the First and Second War. So I know what has happened. Now, we'll now recite the oath, the ode. They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. The going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them, lest we forget.
Lest we forget.
Keep things rolling, ladies and gentlemen, to not hang around the coal too long. A short service today. We'll have laying the wreaths at the moment. Councillor Rivmay. A member for Wallandilly, Nathaniel. The Friends of Hilltop War Memorials. Ian, would you like to lay yours? I'm laying one for the Hilltop Community Centre Committee. Has the Hilltop School arrived? Not yet. Okay, anyone else like to lay some flowers or wreath or anything? Oh, sorry, I forgot the Hilltop Community Association. I thank you all. And Miss That, I'm sorry. Ravalli and raise the flag. The last page. Last page, please, Shay. Thank you all, and let us gather again for a service next year at the War Memorial Hall. Thank you.
For many years I rose at dawn to honour our gallant dead, those who left our nation's shores, oblivious to what lay ahead. But this year I must stand alone and face a deadly scourge. I cannot join my comrades, no matter what the urge. And through the curse of nature, we cannot gather as a crowd, and signs of close affection cannot be allowed. It came from far across the sea, there was little we could do. Despite boundaries and borders, it managed to seep through. It took the sick and elderly, and some still in their prime, and all the cures of the past did not work this time. For one fact man has never learned along the research track, how to fight blindfolded with one arm behind your back. We all had witnessed terrors in peacetime and in war. Some of our brave medics had seen it all before. There were so many reasons and theories did abound. United with one purpose, a solution must be found. I bow my head and say a prayer and recall that sacred vow as I feel the autumn chill crisp upon my brow. I listen to the whispering breeze and turn to briefly see the ghosts of all our fallen standing there with me.
When I was a young man, I carried me pack, and I lived the free life of the rover. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, I waltzed my Matilda all over. Then in 1915, my country said, son, it's time to stop rambling, there's work to be done. So they gave me a tin hat and they gave me a gun, and they sent me away to the war. And the band played waltzing Matilda as the ship pulled away from the quay. And amid all the tears, flag waving and cheers, we sailed off for Gallipoli. Oh, well, I remember that terrible day when our blood stained the sand and the water, and how in that hell they called Suvla Bay we were butchered like lambs at the slaughter. Johnny Turk, he was ready, he primed himself well. He rained us with bullets and he showered us with shell. And in 5 minutes flat, we were all blown to hell. Nearly blew us back home to Australia. And the band played waltzing Matilda when we stopped to bury our slain. We buried ours and the Turks buried theirs. Then it started all over again. Those who are living just try to survive in that mad world of blood, death and fire. And for 10 weary weeks I kept myself alive, while around me the corpses piled higher. Then a big turkey shell knocked me arse overhead, and when I awoke in me hospital bed and saw what it had done, I wished I was dead. I never knew there was worse things than dying. For no more I'll go waltzing Matilda all around the green bush far and near. For to hump tens and pegs a man needs both legs. No more waltzing Matilda for me. They collected the wounded, the crippled, the maimed, and they shipped us back home to Australia. The armless, the legless, the blind and the insane, those proud wounded heroes of Suvla. And when the ship pulled into Circular Quay, I looked at the place where my legs used to be, and thank Christ there was no one there waiting for me to grieve and to mourn and to pity. And the band played waltzing Matilda as they carried us down the gangway. Oh, nobody cheered, they just stood there and stared. Then they turned all their faces away. So now, every April, I sit on my porch and I watch the parade pass before me. I see my old comrades, how proudly they march, renewing their dreams of past glories. I see the old men, all tired, stiff and worn, those weary old heroes of a forgotten war. And the young people ask, what are they marching for? And I ask myself the same question. And the band plays waltzing Matilda, and the old men still answer the call. But year after year, more old men disappear. Someday no one will march there at all. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, who'll come a waltzing Matilda with me? And their ghosts may be heard as they march by the billabong. Who'll come a waltzing Matilda with me?
In dawn's first light, you saw the men who marched on ANZAC Day, those who served their nation proud at Suvla and Milne Bay. Their spirit was to follow you to a sad and troubled land, where you wore your country's uniform in a war many didn't understand. The task force sat at Newey Dat, listening to the songs from home. D Company set off through the wire and headed out alone. You ran into the hostile hordes as the monsoon deluge fell. The slaughter that surrounded you, no words can ever tell. For they swarmed your lines in human waves and thought the battle won. But you held your ground against all odds, outnumbered 25-1. Then above the roar of artillery came the rumble of the APCs. They turned the tide when all seemed lost, crashing through the rubber trees. How many fell on the battlefield? Today we'll never know. The foe that stormy afternoon received a fatal blow. I heard a mother call your name as she slept beneath the moon's soft beams. You left her as a full-grown man and returned a child in her dreams. In God's good care, you dry her tears in a land that knows no pain. Though forever gone from sight, in our proud history you remain. I remember still with bitterness the cloak of shame they wore. But it's the nation, not the soldier, who sends him off to war. So when the bugle sounds its loud command, we'll recall the deeds of that brave band who fought with pride in the rain's crimson tide, in the mud and the blood of Long Tan.